How did you even... Oh, hi. I'm just currently wondering how Nintendo came up with the concept of Paper Mario. It's an awesome idea, and it shows a lot of Nintendo's creativity and charm, but, like, how do they always get such creative ideas?
Hey, Corpus still looking for an idea for that new Mario RPG game. You got anything?
Paper Mario.
It's brilliant.
This guy, am I right? Mario is so damn iconic. He has so many games from so many genres. 2D platformers, 3D platformers, arcade games, sports games, puzzle games, bad games, good games, and RPGs. There are two main Mario RPG series, Mario and Luigi, and Paper Mario, the latter having my interest. Paper Mario began on the Nintendo 64 with Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64.
No way!
It was actually a sequel to Super Mario RPG on the Super Nintendo and became Paper Mario due to technical limitations of the N64. The Paper Mario legacy is an interesting one. From my understanding, people think the first one is a good game. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door was the sequel released for the GameCube in 2004, and this is the crown jewel of Paper Mario, the one everyone adores. With an engaging narrative, interesting side characters, and overall fun gameplay, it's no wonder that this one is held in such high regard. After The Thousand Year Door, Paper Mario changed a bit with Super Paper Mario. Super Paper Mario is much more in line with the standard Mario games. I guess when it comes to Mario, Super is platforming, as this one is both a side-scroller and an action RPG. Despite it being different gameplay-wise, it still had the fun characters and interesting plots that people adored about the first two games. 3 games in and the series is looking good, but then came November 11, 2012. Judgment Day. Paper Mario Sticker Star, considered to be the absolute low point of the Paper Mario series. It feels like it was New Super Mario Rosified, just being incredibly generic. An uninteresting plot, characters that lack depth, and a poorly made battle system makes this one the unholy turd of the series. The next game, Color Splash, was a bit better, but was still too generic and just didn't hold a candle to the sheer perfection of the Thousand Year Door.
Of course, take what I've said with a grain of salt, because that's just my understanding of what fans think of the series based on what I've heard over the years and just some light research. But basically, in summary, good, amazing, fine, bad, and okay. And that takes us up to 2020, the year that Paper Mario the Origami King was released.
Nintendo was planning to reveal the game at E3 2020 as a part of Mario's 35th anniversary, but after E3 2020 was cancelled due to the pandemic, Nintendo instead revealed the game on Twitter, where every great announcement is made. And just 2 months after reveal, Paper Mario the Origami King was released to pretty decent reception.
But it doesn't matter what game critics think, I know what you're really here for. Opinions from a 17-year-old white boy. Well, I sure do have some of those things for ya.
So I picked up this game on Black Friday 2021. GameStop lowered the price of multiple Switch games to just $27, more than half off. Games like Kirby Star Allies, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Astral Chain, Breath of the Wild, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and The Origami King. That was actually really cool. I had a brief conversation with the cashier of how awesome it is for Breath of the Wild to be just $27. But regardless, I saw the sale announcement about a week in advance and was debating between New Super U and Origami King, ultimately picking up the latter because it just seemed more interesting. One lame thing though is that there were no more brand new copies. They only had a pre-owned copy for $37. I decided to pick it up anyways, as that's still a decent discount.
I played through a decent amount of the game and just randomly stopped out of nowhere, but I recently re-picked up the game and finished it, and now here I am talking about it because... what else would I do? Not?
So the best place to start is the story. Mario and Luigi are invited by Peach to the Origami Festival. Upon arriving at Toad Town, Mario and Luigi find it completely abandoned. Mario heads to the castle where he discovers Peach has been turned into origami and she seems evil now. Mario is sent to the dungeons where he meets Olivia, basically this game's Navi. He also ups a folded up Bowser and escapes, coming face to face with King Ollie, the main antagonist and Olivia's brother. Ollie wants to turn the whole kingdom into origami and turn all the Toads into blank paper, man, what a threat. Ollie then wraps the castle in 5 colored streamers, ripping the castle from its foundation and putting it on top of a volcano. Barely escaping, Mario ends up in Whispering Woods. The structure of the game is simple. Mario must destroy the 5 streamers in order to gain access to the castle. To destroy the streamers, Mario must travel all over, and it's here that the structure truly differentiates from the original Paper Mario format. Here, the game is one big connected world. There are 5 different main areas, one for each streamer, but each area is huge and you can easily travel to another one. The structure is actually very similar to Zelda as you tackle dungeon-like areas. The way each area works is pretty similar. You do some stuff to gain access to the Temple of a Valumental. Valumentals are origami creatures that control an element. You make your way through each Valumental temple, solving puzzles and ultimately coming face to face with that temple's Valumental. After defeating them, Olivia is able to turn into the Valumental and use its power in special circles. It's a fun mechanic, and after attaining the Valumental's powers, you head off to another dungeon, work your way through that dungeon, and fight an office supply. After that, you destroy a streamer and head to the next area, and hey, we might as well talk about each area. The first area is the Red Streamer area. This one is Toad Town, which is in Wea Hub. There are also the Whispering Woods, but the important areas are the Earth Valumental Temple and the Overlook Tower. The boss for this area is Colored Pencils.
Yeah, I just said that.
Honestly, I don't think colored pencils are that bad. I think the most damage they can do is draw something I have to censor. The blue streamer area is home of the Water Valumental. Also, you have to travel down Eddy River in this little minigame. And the main attraction, Shogun Studios, a movie studio with Ninja. This is a gorgeous area, giving that sense of fall with the orange color of the leaves. Before you fight the boss, you get to participate in a play, which is also pretty fun. And the boss is Rubber Bands.
Sure.
The yellow streamer lies in a desert area, the Scorching Sandpaper Desert. When you arrive, it's permanently night, and this area is gorgeous. The purple sands and the faint light of Shroom City in the distance. And speaking of which, Shroom City, what a place! You fight the Fire Valumental and use his power to light the towers to reveal the Temple of Shrooms, where you find a bunch of toads with their faces punched out. It comes out of nowhere. It just happens like...
Ah, nice, a toad.
So yeah, you fight a hole punch.
Fuck you.
The purple streamer area is amazing for all of you plagiarism fans. This is literally just the Wind Waker. You do head here right before you go to the yellow streamer. You do stuff on the Princess Peach, an abandoned ship. Afterwards, you go to the yellow streamer, but after that, it's on to the Great Sea. Here, you have to travel to some islands to find Diamond Islands. You fight the last Valumental, and then you have to face 3 challenges. To even access these challenges, though, you have to use the Valumental powers. It's really simple. Use the Earth Valumental to lower the mountain, use the Ice Valumental to freeze the water, and inside, you have to complete some challenges. A trivia game, a timed strength game, and a test of courage. These are fun little challenges that feel kind of pointless, but are enjoyable regardless. And the boss of this area is Tape.
I always knew I couldn't trust you.
And the final area is the green streamer up in the clouds. So there's a spa place up in the clouds, and it's interesting. Bowser's castle crashed in the middle of it, and that's where the green streamer lands. But some fart knockers are guarding the castle from the sky. Then Bowser Jr. attempts to get him, but he's cut up. They save him by bringing him to one of the spas because each spa does some restoration thing. They have to visit each spa to fully restore Bowser Jr. so his car works, and for the most part, it's as simple as walking up to the spa and hopping in. But for one of them, you have to go through this whole ass jungle area. It's fine, but in a way, a total pace killer. In the spring at the end of the jungle, Bowser Jr. also spends too much time in there losing his color. Great! After visiting the other spas, you gain access to a special rainbow spa, which they believe will recolor Bowser Jr. But you have to go through another gauntlet of challenges, ending with a game show. It grinds the pace from a close to halt all the way to a full halt. The quiz show is so slow, and the worse you do, the longer it takes. It's ridiculous. After that, though, you recolor Bowser Jr., get to the castle, and fight Scissors. The Scissors suck because there's a move where he can just one-shot you. It's easy to avoid at first, but it can get tricky and frustrating. But after that, all the streamers are destroyed, so you raid Peach's castle with Bowser's airship and finally confront Ollie. I'm not gonna spoil the end, but man, the final battle really had me like...
But that's the story. It's decent and the dialogue mainly carries it, but my god, the dialogue in this game is so good. It's so goofy and I just adore things that are goofy. But of course it is a video game, so how does it play? Like a game. I said it's a video game. dumbass.
As mentioned earlier, the structure is different from the standard Paper Mario format. It's a bit more focused on exploration. However, despite the world being different than normal, the game is still an RPG with a much more interesting battle system in my opinion. When you engage in a battle, you are placed in the middle of a set of rings, with the enemies scattered across said rings. You are then given a certain amount of time to group the enemies together. You can line them up to jump on them, or group them up in a 2x2 area to hit them with your hammer. You don't have to have them line up perfectly, but it's ideal because your attack is boosted and it's much easier to damage all the enemies. Each turn you're only given enough turns to hit all of the enemies as if they were grouped correctly. I do like this format. It helps get rid of the dull, uninteresting parts of RPGs, the battles. Here, before you can even fight, you have to solve a puzzle. It's interesting and engaging, and on top of that, you can do extra damage to enemies if you hit the A button at the right time during your attack. You can also use different boots and hammers for more powerful attacks, but they can also break, leaving some room for some light strategy. You would probably want to reserve the special boots for a tougher enemy instead of wasting it on a Goomba. I never really got bored of them, which I really do commend this game for. However, all you get from winning battles are coins and confetti. Like any other game, ever, coins are the currency and you get so many from each battle, and there's really nothing in the main story that you need to spend coins on. So I always had more than enough. Confetti is also a mechanic of this game. Some areas of the environment are just straight up missing. You can cover up the area with the confetti and the area is fixed and you get coins. So the battle rewards are coins and confetti, which ultimately gives you more coins. Currency means nothing in this game. Anyways, what I meant to say before I got sidetracked was you don't get experience points from battles. Usually in RPGs, after completing battles, you're rewarded with experience points, and once obtaining enough, you level up, becoming stronger. I've never been a fan of that whole idea because that just means if you're stuck on a really hard boss, your only choice is to grind, just doing a bunch of battles, which is not fun. Thankfully here, you never have to grind, you just keep moving. Like Zelda, how well you stand against a boss is more so based on your skill. In a way, the lack of levels and experience does make battles pointless, but they're enjoyable, so I never minded. But the boss battles change up the formula. Instead of Mario being in the center of the ring, the rings are littered with arrows and chests and attack panels and whatnot, and you have a few moves to align the rings to make a path to the boss. You can get hearts to restock health, walk over some special panels to deal 2 times damage or get an extra turn. Some bosses will add hazards to the board, some remove panels, some add fires. It's a fun way to mix things up and make you think more. Each boss generally has a weak point that is just common sense. The elementals can be used if you land on their panels, and they can also be used to avoid certain attacks. For example, the water elemental can cause a tidal wave, but with the earth elemental's power, you can raise Mario high enough to avoid the wave. The final boss against Ollie is pretty fun too. He uses everything you've learned from prior bosses against you. The fight after the turn-based fight is pretty lame, but the final turn-based fight is brilliant. And in general, I just really liked the battle system here. Each area has some collectibles and other mini activities to do too. As I mentioned earlier, there are bottomless pits that can be filled with confetti. There are also toads all around. Folded into bugs or crumpled up into wads, you hit them with your hammer and they unfold and say something funny. I always love saving the toads because they all had a fun line of dialogue. Plus, during battles, all the toads you've saved sit on the bleachers. It's awesome to see during the battle all the toads you've helped. And with coins, you can get the toads to help you during battle. Depending on how many coins you spend, they can rearrange the rings correctly, heal you, and damage some enemies. Outside of toads and bottomless pits, there are also little figurines of characters and locations that you can find across the game. My personal favorite being rocks. And there are also question mark blocks that you can get rewards out of too. Each area on the map screen has a percentage showing how much of each collectible you've gotten for that area. I do like that as it makes 100% in the game easier. What else is there? Companions? They're a point of criticism. Some areas have a companion for a limited time. The blue streamer, you team up with a Babam named Bobby who has amnesia. The yellow streamer, Captain Toad, and the green streamer, Kamek. So what's wrong with these guys? Well, they just lack character. The only interesting one is Bobby. He was a Babam aboard the Princess Peach, but he lost his fuse and memory. After getting the fuse, he sacrifices himself to save Olivia and open the way to Sandpaper Desert. It's a sad scene, and I like Bobby, but he just looks like any other Babam. Captain Toad can dig in certain places and read hieroglyphs, which is fine, but then Kamek, it's just Kamek. There is nothing to him. They can help you in battle with a huge asterisk.
I threw a Nintendo 64 on colored pencils. Did I help?
So yeah, the companions aren't the greatest. Also worth mentioning though is Luigi. After the opening, you find him at the ruins of Peach's castle where he sets off to find the key to Peach's castle. You then run into him time and time again where he has a key, but it's always not the key he's looking for, but it's a key you need. This is just a dumb joke they repeat over and over, but I love it. Poor Luigi. And also poor me, I have arthritis now. This game surprisingly uses heavy motion control. Not just gyro aim, but at many moments, you have to shake the controller and it's just like, go away, you're on a weekend from 2007. Also, on the positive side, this is genuinely such a good looking game. All of the areas look absolutely gorgeous with amazing lighting and models. This is one of the best looking Switch games in my opinion. It's just so good. And so is the music, especially the battle theme. I really love how the battle theme changes a bit in each area too. That's a nice touch. But besides that, I don't know. That's kind of all I have to say.
Origami King is, in my opinion, a good game. I can still understand some of the flaws, the lackluster companions, the unnecessary battles, but overall, I still think this is a pretty enjoyable game. Granted, this is the first game I played in the Paper Mario series, but I really enjoyed it and it makes me want to play through the rest of the series. And maybe once I play through all those, I'll revisit this one and realize, man, this game is ass! But for now, I think this game was a great first adventure for me in the Paper Mario universe. It may not be the best Paper Mario game, but I think we can at least all agree it's a lot better than Sticker Star, but I still don't get how a colored pencil can be dangerous. Like, watch this! God. Okay, so maybe they are dangerous.